Imagine a life where people fear to take advantage of you, where your decisions command respect, and where your influence is undeniable. Imagine no longer bending to the expectations of others or seeking approval at your own expense. In the next few minutes, you will learn the Machiavellian truth that being nice has been sabotaging your power, and how to stop being the nice guy forever. Throughout history, men have believed that kindness alone is the path to influence, respect, and love. But the harsh truth, one that rulers, generals, and statesmen have always known, is that niceness is a liability. Today, we confront a problem that has silently held you back, being the nice guy. By the end of this video, you will understand why your desire to please has been your greatest weakness, and how to break free from it forever. Ever wondered why, despite being nice, people often overlook you, underestimate you, or even take advantage of you? It is a bitter truth, but one that must be faced. Being nice, in the way most men understand it, is not a virtue. It is a weakness disguised as virtue. Humanity has long mistaken courtesy for strength, generosity for power, and agreeableness for authority. History, however, paints a far grimmer picture. Those who rise, those who command, and those who are remembered are rarely the ones who are endlessly polite, endlessly obliging, endlessly nice. They are the ones who understand the mechanics of influence, the laws of human nature, and the subtle art of leveraging their presence to secure advantage. To be nice is to assume that the world will reciprocate your kindness. You smile, you agree, you avoid conflict, you accommodate others' whims, believing that people will respect you for it. But this is a dangerous illusion. Human nature is not fair, and it is certainly not grateful. History shows that those who are too accommodating, who prioritize the comfort of others over their own, are often trampled upon. Their opinions are ignored, their contributions diminished, and their presence taken for granted. Niceness is often met with exploitation, because the world does not owe you respect simply for being agreeable. Consider the social dynamics that play out around you every day. A colleague constantly agrees with everyone else's ideas, never asserting their own. A friend always yields to the desires of the group, never expressing personal preference. A partner continuously sacrifices their needs to maintain harmony. At first glance, these people are pleasant, likable, even admirable. But observe closely, they are powerless in the very situations they hope to influence. Decisions are made without them, opportunities pass them by, and their own desires remain unfulfilled. This is the trap of niceness. It lulls you into believing you are doing the right thing, while secretly eroding your influence and authority. Niceness is seductive because it appeals to a moral narrative we are conditioned to believe. Society tells us that virtue is always rewarded, that if we are good, we will be treated well, and that those who act with integrity will rise. But reality is not so simple. Life is a battlefield of wills, a competition of ambition, and a theater of power. And in this theater, kindness without strategy is invisible. The world does not elevate those who merely hope for reciprocity. It elevates those who assert control, who negotiate from a position of strength, and who understand that appearances and perception are often more important than intentions. It is not enough to be good in the eyes of others. Niceness, when it is untempered by strategy, becomes a liability. The nice man speaks gently, he avoids confrontation, he waits for others to notice his virtue. But by the time recognition comes, it is too late. The powerful have already moved, the opportunities have already been seized, and the world has passed him by. History is replete with examples: generals whose reluctance to make decisive moves led to defeat, politicians whose excessive compromise eroded their authority, and merchants whose unwillingness to assert dominance allowed rivals to flourish. Niceness, in the absence of calculated power, ensures irrelevance. Now, do not mistake this as a call to cruelty. That is not the Machiavellian lesson. Machiavelli teaches us that appearances, timing, and perception are everything. You may be courteous, polite, and even generous, but always with the recognition that your power is your primary currency. A smile without strategy is meaningless. A compliment without leverage is wasted. An agreement without control is surrender. To be effective, your actions must serve your position. Niceness without purpose is vanity. Niceness with purpose is influence. The man who understands this distinction moves through the world unimpeded, commanding respect without overt aggression, achieving influence without sacrificing his position. Being nice is comfortable. It feels safe. It shields you from confrontation and preserves social harmony. But comfort is the enemy of power. By clinging to the illusion that being agreeable equates to being respected, you willingly bind yourself to the whims of others. You surrender decision-making to those bolder, more cunning, and more strategic than yourself. Every compromise you make for the sake of being liked chips away at your authority. Every unasserted opinion, every moment of restraint, every attempt to avoid friction reinforces the idea that you are dispensable. And once the world sees you as dispensable, it will act accordingly. The first step to liberation from this trap is recognition. You must see niceness for what it is, a mask of weakness that keeps you small, restrained, and powerless. You must understand that influence is not granted, it is seized. Respect is not earned by passive goodness, it is commanded through action, presence, and control. Your charm, your courtesy, your willingness to please, these are tools, not virtues. Used wisely, they enhance your authority. Used naively, they diminish it. Every day you continue to rely on niceness as your strategy, you reinforce the world's perception that you are secondary, that your desires are negotiable, and that your presence is optional. To escape this cycle, you must adopt a new lens, a Machiavellian perspective that values results over intentions, power over approval, and influence over likability. Being the nice guy is often glorified in society. From movies to self-help books, we are told that kindness, agreeableness, and generosity are the ultimate pathways to love, respect, and success. But the reality, harsh and unyielding, is quite different. Being nice, in the absence of strategy and self-interest, comes with a cost that is paid not in money but in respect, influence, and opportunity. Those who cling to niceness as their guiding principle often find themselves invisible, undervalued, and repeatedly exploited. And while society celebrates the image of the good man, it quietly rewards the cunning, the decisive, and the self-possessed. Every yes you utter when your instincts demand a no chips away at your power. Every compromise you make to keep others comfortable diminishes your authority. It is a subtle erosion, almost imperceptible at first. You may tell yourself that pleasing others is virtuous, that making others happy is noble, that avoiding conflict is wise, but all of these rationalizations mask the truth. You are weakening yourself in the eyes of the world. People respect strength even when it is cloaked in civility. They admire decisiveness, not endless concession. They are drawn to those who protect their own interests and assert boundaries, not to those who surrender them willingly. Consider the dynamics of everyday life. In the workplace, the man who always agrees with the boss, who never challenges decisions, who quietly absorbs criticism without protest, may seem admirable. But what happens when a promotion arises? Who receives it? The agreeable subordinate, or the one who asserts value and makes his presence felt? Who is trusted with responsibility, the compliant observer or the man who demonstrates initiative and decisiveness? The nice guy, by habitually deferring, erodes his own visibility. He becomes the silent participant, a fixture without influence, a pawn rather than a player. In friendships, the pattern is equally unforgiving. The man who always yields to others' preferences, who sacrifices his desires to preserve harmony, who never expresses dissent, quickly becomes a fixture that others exploit. His generosity is taken for granted, his time is undervalued, his opinions are ignored. Niceness, in the absence of strategic self-interest, guarantees subjugation. Others will see you not as a man to be reckoned with, but as a tool to serve their needs, a convenient source of approval and compliance. Romantic relationships are perhaps the most instructive example of the cost of being the nice guy. A man who is always accommodating, who never asserts boundaries, who refrains from expressing desire or expectation, often finds himself overlooked. Women, like all humans, are drawn to confidence, assertiveness, and the subtle mastery of social power. The man who suppresses his own needs to please, who fears confrontation, who seeks approval at every turn, signals weakness, even if his intentions are pure. Niceness without backbone, without presence, without assertiveness, becomes invisible in the theater of attraction. It is a harsh lesson, but one that history and observation alike confirm. Those who are perpetually nice rarely command desire. They merely exist as companions or conveniences. Every act of excessive niceness carries consequences beyond the immediate moment. When you yield to others' demands, you cultivate expectations. People come to assume that your compliance is automatic. They begin to shape their lives around your acquiescence without considering your own needs. And when a moment finally arises in which you must assert yourself, resistance often meets surprise, confusion, or resentment. You have trained the world to take your concessions for granted, and breaking that pattern becomes a battle against both perception and habit. The cost is not merely social, it is psychological. By constantly subordinating your own desires to maintain peace, you erode your sense of self. Your decisions are filtered through the lens of others' approval. Your ambitions are tempered by fear of offending. Your confidence wanes because you equate kindness with weakness. And in the long run, this internal compromise corrodes your capacity to act decisively when opportunities or threats arise. History rewards the man who acts from power, not from politeness. Machiavelli understood this better than most. He observed that those who allow their desire to please to dominate their actions will inevitably be manipulated, overlooked, and eventually crushed by those who do not hesitate to act in their own interest. Power is not conferred by good intentions or moral virtue. It is seized by strategy, decisiveness, and the willingness to protect one's position. To be nice without foresight is to court irrelevance. The man who prioritizes harmony over control will always be at the mercy of those who prioritize advantage over sentiment. The transition from nice guy to influential man begins with awareness of these costs. To recognize that every unasserted opinion, every avoided confrontation, every forced accommodation comes with a price is the first step toward liberation. You must understand that being agreeable is not inherently wrong, it is simply insufficient. Without the balance of self-interest, decisiveness, and boundary setting, niceness ensures vulnerability, diminishes power, and stunts ambition. The world will not reward perpetual compromise. People will not value kindness without consequence. Your life, your ambitions, your influence, and even your dignity are at stake every time you subordinate yourself to the comfort of others. The cost of being the nice guy is not theoretical. It is real, measurable, and relentless. To continue as you are is to invite a lifetime of being overlooked, exploited, and undervalued. If the path of the nice guy leads only to compromise, invisibility, and exploitation, then what is the alternative? The alternative is not cruelty, nor is it heartlessness. It is strategy, calculation, and an unshakable understanding of human nature. Machiavelli, the master observer of power and influence, taught that the world does not reward virtue for its own sake. It rewards those who act decisively, who understand the mechanisms of control, and who protect their own interests above all else. To stop being the nice guy forever, one must embrace this Machiavellian alternative, a mindset that values results, influence, and perception above naive morality. The first principle of this alternative is clarity about self-interest. A man who acts without awareness of his own needs is a man adrift. He may be well-intentioned, polite, even admired for his courtesy, yet he drifts along the currents of others' demands, waiting for recognition or validation that rarely comes. To adopt the Machiavellian approach is to place your own position at the center of every decision. This is not selfishness in the petty sense. It is strategic prioritization. Every action you take should serve the purpose of strengthening your influence, securing your opportunities, and protecting your boundaries. When you act in alignment with your own advantage, every move becomes deliberate, every word measured, and every relationship evaluated through the lens of leverage and outcome. The second principle is understanding appearances. Machiavelli recognized that perception is often more powerful than reality. You may be generous, courteous, and thoughtful, but if the world perceives you as weak or malleable, those qualities will be exploited. Influence is built not only on what you do, but on how you are seen. A man who commands respect does not need to announce his power. It is understood through his presence, his actions, and the subtle signals he conveys. Charm, politeness, and respectfulness can coexist with strength, but only if they are wielded strategically. Every smile, every compliment, every gesture of kindness should serve to reinforce your authority, not diminish it. This is the delicate art of Machiavellian conduct: to be agreeable without being dominated, to appear approachable without being undermined, to act with civility while always maintaining the upper hand. The third principle is decisiveness. Indecision is the enemy of influence. The nice man hesitates, consults, and avoids confrontation, fearing the discomfort of disapproval. The Machiavellian man recognizes that hesitation signals weakness. Decisions, bold, calculated, and timely, establish authority. Even when mistakes occur, a man who acts decisively commands respect, because action signals competence, confidence, and control. In relationships, business, or social dynamics, those who hesitate are trampled by those who move. Niceness without decisiveness is merely passivity. Strategy without action is useless. To embrace the Machiavellian alternative is to act, to assert, and to shape events rather than be shaped by them. The fourth principle is selective empathy. Machiavelli did not advocate for cruelty without purpose. He understood the necessity of human connection. Influence requires people to want to follow, to trust, and occasionally to admire you. But empathy must be wielded as a tool, not as a shackle. The Machiavellian alternative does not suppress kindness, it channels it. You show understanding when it advances your objectives, offer assistance when it strengthens your alliances, and exercise patience when it increases your leverage. This is the mastery of perception, to care, but never at the expense of your own authority. The world rewards the man who can balance relational intelligence with self-interest. The fifth principle is boundary setting. The nice man often fears conflict, fearing disapproval or rejection. He tolerates disrespect, sacrifices his time and energy, and accommodates demands that undermine him. The Machiavellian alternative recognizes that boundaries are the foundation of influence. By clearly defining what is acceptable and what is not, you shape the expectations of others. People are not inherently respectful of kindness. They are respectful of strength. Boundaries protect your resources, reinforce your value, and create a space where your influence can thrive. Every concession you avoid, every no you assert strategically, communicates control without the need for aggression. Finally, the Machiavellian alternative is a mindset, a continuous refinement of strategy and self-awareness. To stop being the nice guy forever is not a single act, it is a transformation of perspective. It is the ability to see the world as it is, not as you wish it to be. It is understanding that respect, influence, and opportunity are not gifts. They are earned through deliberate action, careful calculation, and mastery of perception. By adopting this mindset, you reclaim the power that niceness surrendered. You move from passivity to purpose, from invisibility to influence, and from accommodation to authority. Every interaction becomes a calculated step towards strengthening your position, every relationship an opportunity to assert your presence, and every decision a reflection of your control. The Machiavellian alternative teaches that the world is not a place where virtue guarantees reward. It is a place where clarity of self-interest, decisiveness, perception management, selective empathy, and boundary setting determine outcomes. The nice guy, who hopes for reciprocity and fears disapproval, is a man at the mercy of others' wills. The Machiavellian man, however, acts with purpose, navigates the complexities of human nature, and secures influence not through agreement, but through mastery. This is the path to respect, to authority, and to power, a path where niceness is no longer a liability, but a tool wielded strategically. The final step in abandoning the life of the nice guy is not simply adopting strategy, assertiveness, or perception management. It is mastering the art of detachment. Detachment does not mean coldness, apathy, or cruelty. Rather, it is the conscious removal of dependence on the approval, validation, or expectations of others. The nice man, for all his efforts to please, is enslaved by the need to be liked, admired, and accepted. Every action he takes is filtered through the fear of disapproval, and every decision is tempered by the imagined judgment of others. This dependence undermines confidence, erodes authority, and limits potential. The Machiavellian alternative demands freedom from these chains, a freedom that comes through calculated detachment. To understand detachment, one must first recognize its necessity. The world is indifferent to kindness without consequence. People do not inherently respect generosity, nor do they honor patience or compromise if it diminishes your influence. When a man continually seeks to accommodate others, he surrenders power without realizing it. Others will assume that his compliance is automatic, his tolerance limitless, and his desires subordinate. Detachment changes this dynamic. By prioritizing your own interests, establishing firm boundaries, and consciously removing the need for external validation, you shift the balance of power. People no longer dictate your actions, you dictate your engagement with them. Detachment is, at its core, a form of self-respect. The man who fears displeasing others constantly undermines his own position. He gives away his time, energy, and authority in pursuit of approval that may never arrive. By cultivating detachment, he learns to value his own presence, decisions, and ambitions above the fluctuating opinions of those around him. Every interaction is reframed. Relationships are no longer about validation, but about mutual benefit. Influence is no longer about likability, but about authority. And effort is no longer about pleasing, but about advancing purpose. This recalibration fundamentally transforms the way the world perceives him. However, detachment is not the abandonment of strategy, it is the refinement of it. Machiavelli understood that the most powerful figures did not act from impulse or emotion, but from calculated purpose. A detached man does not react to slights, criticism, or manipulation. He evaluates them, measures their impact, and responds in a manner that strengthens his position. Emotional detachment allows for clarity of thought, precision in action, and consistency in strategy. By removing the influence of immediate feelings or the desire for approval, a man gains the ability to act decisively, anticipate consequences, and navigate human dynamics with mastery. Detachment also enhances perception. When you are free from the need for approval, others begin to perceive you as confident, composed, and powerful. There is a magnetic authority in a man who does not bend to every whim, who does not seek constant validation, and who operates according to his own principles. This presence commands respect and even fear. People naturally follow those who exhibit control over themselves and their environment. Detachment is not a withdrawal from life, it is a strategic positioning, a silent declaration that your value is inherent, not conditional upon the acceptance of others. Furthermore, detachment allows for better decision-making. The nice man is often paralyzed by the fear of disappointing others or creating conflict. He delays choices, hedges his bets, and seeks consensus at the cost of opportunity. A detached man, in contrast, evaluates situations objectively. He weighs benefits against risks, prioritizes outcomes that serve his purpose, and is unafraid to assert boundaries even when it provokes discomfort. Detachment liberates the mind from the tyranny of social expectation, creating space for boldness and strategic action that would otherwise be impossible. Detachment is also the safeguard against exploitation. Every act of over-accommodation invites dependency and diminishes perceived value. By establishing clear limits and maintaining a degree of emotional independence, a man protects himself from being drained by others' demands. Detachment allows him to say no without guilt, to refuse manipulation without hesitation, and to allocate his energy where it produces the greatest return. Discipline is not coldness, it is foresight, a recognition that power is finite and must be protected. The transformation through detachment is a profound internal shift. The man who once lived for approval now lives for purpose. The man who once feared confrontation now commands it when necessary. The man who once sacrificed his own desires now prioritizes them strategically, understanding that his strength, influence, and value are inseparable from his autonomy. By detaching from the need to be liked, he gains freedom to act, freedom to influence, and freedom to shape his destiny according to deliberate design. Ultimately, detachment completes the Machiavellian metamorphosis. It is the bridge from passive compliance to calculated authority, from invisibility to influence, and from servitude to power. The nice man is reactive, molded by the expectations of others. The detached man is proactive, shaping his environment according to principle and purpose. He engages with the world on his terms, not on theirs, and in doing so, he transforms niceness from a liability into a tool of influence. Detachment does not diminish his humanity, it enhances his agency, allowing him to operate with clarity, strategy, and precision. By now, you have seen the harsh reality that being the nice guy is not a virtue, it is a weakness, a quiet surrender to the whims and expectations of others. Niceness alone will not earn respect, influence, or desire. It leaves you invisible, exploited, and trapped in a cycle of compromise. History, human nature, and observation all converge on this truth. Those who rise, who are remembered, and who command the world are rarely those who simply aim to please. We explored the cost of being the nice guy. Every unasserted opinion, every yielded opportunity, and every compromised boundary chips away at your authority and diminishes your presence. To be endlessly agreeable is to train the world to expect your acquiescence, and in doing so you sacrifice not only respect but potential. The world rewards strength, decisiveness, and self-interest, not perpetual kindness without purpose. Then, we uncovered the Machiavellian alternative. Influence, power, and authority are not won through passivity. They are seized through strategy, decisiveness, and mastery of perception. By aligning your actions with your own interests, acting with calculated empathy, and commanding respect through presence rather than submission, you step into a role of control. You transition from being a participant in the theater of human interaction to being its director. Niceness becomes a tool rather than a liability, a calculated instrument to reinforce your position, not an obstacle that diminishes it. Finally, we examined transformation through calculated detachment. To stop being the nice guy forever, you must remove the chains of external validation, expectation, and fear of disapproval. Detachment grants clarity, focus, and the freedom to act decisively. It allows you to protect your energy, assert your boundaries, and navigate the world strategically. The man who masters detachment operates on his own terms, respected not for his concessions, but for his strength, foresight, and unyielding presence. In the end, the path from the nice guy to the influential man is not easy, nor is it comfortable. It requires courage, self-awareness, and the willingness to embrace truths most prefer to ignore. But for those who walk it, the rewards are profound: freedom from manipulation, command of your own destiny, and the ability to engage with the world not as a victim of circumstance, but as its master. By leaving behind the illusions of niceness, embracing strategic action, and cultivating detachment, you step into the domain of power, influence, and control. a world where respect is earned, authority is commanded, and the life you desire becomes attainable.